Hello, viewers, and welcome to Vegan Bloomers. I am Luna Bloomer. This is Vegan Bloomers. Connect, inspire, learn is our mission. And today, our special star guest is the lovely Chan. So welcome, Chan.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome. So let's begin with where you're based, how old you are, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yep. I'm based on, I live in Montreal, and I'm a student in computer science. And
how old are you?
How old am I? Oh, yeah. I'm between 25 to 35. 25 to 35.
I love it. And what are your interests and hobbies? What do you like to get up to?
My interest, like I said, I'm a student in computer science. I like everything related to the technology, especially. I aim to develop anything related to AI field, something like that, robot, driving automaton, automaton could be like Tesla. I'm sorry for my English.
It's fine. You're doing well. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's specifically my hobby, programming.
Awesome. So have you created a robot? Yeah.
Pardon?
Have you created a robot in your lifetime?
Not yet. I just started my first years as a computer science. So
awesome.
Yeah. So but I used to work on a network. How do you say this in English? I don't know. It's network, internet, something like that.
Okay.
Building architect on the network, all those stuff.
Very cool. So are you full-time student or is it part-time?
Full-time student. I just quit my job I just want to finish my upgrade.
Nice. What did you do before? What job were you in?
What did I do before? It's I'm working on the network field of network. It's related to computer too.
Okay.
But it's on a network, designing network for client across the country.
Awesome.
I don't know how you can. Yeah.
Sounds good. Right. So let's talk about veganism. So tell us, when did you turn vegan and what was it that got you there?
When I turned vegan. I used to be vegan. In the past, I used to be vegan on and off. Yeah. It's pretty complicated because I born in a family that my family was teaching me about the concept of the veganism without knowing what is veganism already. The concept is like do not respect the ants, don't kill the mouse, sometimes even the cockroach, you're in the house. So this is I used to live with my family, but surprisingly, they're not vegan. And the first time that I saw the animal get killed in front of me, when I was 7 or 8 years old. I was super young. Yeah, and I saw a chicken and a pig and a cow in front of me. That's crazy. And then after that day, I don't even touch any meat at all. And then I was young, my mother was like, in my parents' head, for them it's like it's normal, so they always telling me that's normal. And then since that day, during my whole high school, I was having this image all the time and every time. And I tried to reduce meat when I was young and in high school. And then after that, at the end of the high school, I kind of like forgetting all those image. But I'm staying with my friend, bad influence, around people eating meat, go to the restaurant. And then after high school, that's when I quitting my parent. I became more, autonomous, independent, and that's when I started thinking myself about my food and other stuff, and I became like more flexi vegetarian, and then I became vegetarian, and then I became flexi plant-based, and then I became plant-based. And then after that, I realized something, and then I realized that there's a way more about diet. So that's why I became vegan. And it's been like 7 years already I'm vegan.
Oh, wow. Big journey. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. I wish I could have done it sooner. And I wish there's someone, come to my face and say like something like, what you're doing is not good. And like you are vegetarian and you are a hypocrite, something like that. I wish that someone told me, but no one, I never met anyone who come to my face telling me that kind of something directly. There's some people telling me like indirectly, but that doesn't have any effect on me because it's not straight on the line. Yeah. No one tell me like, you're still abusing animal. Do you know those kind of word? I need that. That was the word that I needed. But no one told me, people was scaring to hurt my feelings, something like that. So they were trying to go around the partners. That doesn't help me first, but not secondly. Because first of all, it doesn't help animal. Because when I became vegan, I realized that there's a social justice behind that. So that's why I starting to differentiate between plant-based and veganism. That's good. It's easy. When we mix each other like those terms, without differentiated between what is plant-based, what is veganism, it doesn't make different for us, but it make a lot of difference for animal because at the end of it, they are the one who's paying the price, right? And by not differentiate those two terms, we are slowing down the movement. And which movement I'm talking about? It's what is it? It's the justice movement for the animal.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that's why.
It's interesting that I think you're the first person that I've ever come across that has actually said, like, I wish somebody told me I was abusing animals, because for most people, that would be something as direct and abrupt as that would put them off. So you're a prime example, and I'm really glad that you've said this, because it just goes to show, because there are vegan activists out there that do take the more direct, kind of seemingly aggressive approach. And it just goes to show that those kinds of activists would have been really beneficial for you specifically, because that's how things work for you. So it's just, it's awesome that you've mentioned that. So thank you for sharing, because I do think it's important that people realise that every single kind of activism is beneficial some way, because everybody's so different in receiving.
Exactly.
So like, for me, if somebody were to tell me that, I probably would have not taken it so well. I think for me and my journey, there is, now it wouldn't be an issue because I'm totally okay with conflict and confrontation, but a long time ago, it wouldn't have been enough for me. I would have been just really defensive and not taking it on board. So but now I definitely would be the kind of person that's like, this is wrong, what you're doing is not okay. Like that's what kind of got me over the edge too, because I realized that it was because I was vegetarian first, and I felt like vegetarianism was not enough, which is why I went full vegan. So but it's cool to hear, and have an interaction with somebody that is on that kind of wavelength in their thinking, that I need to be told directly. So that's awesome.
It is important to be told to directly.
So when you first became started on your plant-based journey, how did your friends and your family respond to that?
Well, for my family, they say, they don't respond negatively, they just like, because they are Buddhists already, Buddhists, they are pro, they are pro not eating animal, but they themselves they eat animal.
Right.
I mean, like that for them, it's like, oh, it's good, you know, that's it. There's nothing wrong for them not eating animal, you know. But, you know, I know that somewhere in their mind, they know deeply it's wrong to eat animal. They know, I know it. I know that they know. So that's why sometimes, you know, they don't eat it. And by the way, you know, my parents, you know, are poor, so they don't have a lot of money anyway. So most of the time, you know, they eat meat, but not a lot. But even though they still eating meat more compared when they were in their country, when they were, because they came from a village that they don't have any electricity, you know, it's they don't have anything at all over there, and the meat they eat is like the chicken they eat like once every like 2-3 months, and the cow they eat like once every 2-3 years, you know. But it's still wrong for us, you know? But you know, they live in a village that there has zero electricity.
So where were you born?
I was born in Thailand.
Okay.
But my parents, they came from Cambodia
Okay.
not in a city, but in a small village far from the city. No,
like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere. Like they live basically in the forest, you know.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Very cool.
But they used to live there.
So when you first went when you went plant-based, like fully plant-based, was there anything that you struggled to give up going from vegetarian to plant-based?
Honestly, I don't have it. It
No?
was pretty easy. It was pretty easy for me. The reason because of where I was educated, you know, it always came down from the root of my youth. You know, my parent, you know, my mom always feeding me stuff that, you know, everything, you know, every time I said something like yak, you know, something like that, she would make that food for like a week or two. She would do it on purpose.
Wow.
Yeah. So I learned to say, oh, it's good, even though it's not good.
Yeah.
Okay. But over time, by just saying to yourself that it's good, you're starting to like it, want it or not, and you start to learn how to like food, even though you don't like it. So that's why when I get older, became plant-based for me, it's pretty easy. But I can say something. I can say that's something that I don't like when I became plant-based. The legumes, you know, the how do you say this?
What, like lentils?
Yeah, lentil, something like that. This is something. This is something that I have a hard time to eat.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I have to. I'm even after 7 years, I still have that process. I still have to learn to eat that. It's not easy for me because in my culture they don't eat a lot of lentil and all of stuff. So, but you know, I have to eat. So I start. So what I did, I start with the red lentil, which is the easiest lentil that I can eat it, and then over time I mix that red lentil with green lentil and other stuff. But I cannot eat lentil like those legumes like more than 3 days straight.
Oh, that's interesting.
No, I cannot because I kind of feel like something like weird in my side. But I can eat rice. Example, rice. I can eat every day, morning. You know, 3 times a day, every day. You know, I mean, like I've been eating rice for like my whole life.
Yeah.
So for me, normal, right? Something, you know, because some people have the same, you know, problem with rice. They cannot eat rice like over like 3 days. Same thing for me. I cannot eat lentil for like 3 days straight. You know?
That's like me. I must admit, actually, when I first had lentils, I had red lentils, and I don't think I can say I'm a fan of red lentils. However, I do like brown lentils. But I think the reason why I don't like red lentils is because I went on a refugee challenge. I did a refugee Syrian challenge, which meant I was living on rations. And the only thing I could have lentil wise was like this lentil soup, and it literally had no flavoring or anything, and it was the most disgusting thing I've ever had in my life. So I think like my body just rejects red lentils because of that. Still, this was like 3 years ago, but so I think that that's why I don't like red lentils. But I do love brown lentils. Like I found that they work so well with like, you know, like in tacos or as like a shepherd's pie or lasagna, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I get with the rice thing, like, because it was the same with rice as well. I can't eat a lot of rice, but again, I think the reason is because of the challenge I did, because I lived on rice
Yeah.
and salt. That was my dinner like every day for like 10 days. So yeah, I have a bit of a hard time with rice myself, but
So,
it makes sense.
So your body is go like your body it's like your body goes under the face of what do you say this of, I don't know the word, but I think something like sorry, I forgot the word.
That's all right. My body's just gone on strike for these things.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it did. It took me about a year, I think, to be able to eat rice again after doing that. But I do love rice, so yeah. So is there anything that you used to be able to eat that you can't anymore, that you miss?
Yeah, that's I used to eat something like called there's a sausage, Chinese sausage. I don't know if you know this Chinese sausage.
Is that with soy and sesame seeds?
No, they don't have it.
No? Okay.
It's kind of brown, but all China, I mean, like all the sauces is brown. But it's red, a little bit red and brown. But that's I miss that because I use it a lot.
Oh, okay.
I use it that's basically I eat like rice and that sausage. When I think back then, I don't have any legume or something like that too often. That's weird. It's not really healthy, like rice and that sausage.
Yeah.
But
there's the veg.
Yeah, I mean, it's just satisfying. You know? It's satisfying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the right word. So, how would you say that veganism has impacted your life?
Physically, I eat more sugar.
Okay.
Well, to be honest, when it says, yeah, to be honest, I eat more sugar. You know? But after 6 months, I realized no sugar anymore, no stuff, donut and all this stuff. Yeah, but because when you realize like when you see like, oh, that's vegan, you always want to try,
Yes,
something new, but it's always something like sugar. I'm like, oh man, come on, man, that's sugar again. We should do something new with vegan, with plant-based product, and have less sugar, But for according for my activity, I see. Well, I don't see a lot of friends, already. I'm not type of people like you do a lot of activity with friend group. I used to do in the past, but not anymore because because of school and other stuff. What is impacting also, I think, the conversation with me and my friend also. I always try.
Would you say that when you turned vegan, have you lost friends because of it?
No.
Okay.
I don't. When I think about it, no.
Okay.
Well, I define what's lost friends. I just stop seeing them.
Well, I just wondered because when that's something that does happen, like when you go through the vegan journey, you do tend to drop friends because they can't handle your morals. So I just wondered whether it was something that you'd been through.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like the reason I don't go to their meeting or their party, maybe that you can consider it. I don't go to their party every time they have barbecue and other stuff. I stopped going there. I went to one. I went to one weddings. One of my friend. This is the first time. This is the beginning of my veganism. Okay, I went there. The first wedding when I was vegan, I regret it.
Oh, okay.
I regret to go there because I wasn't, activist yet, but I don't want to go there anymore with that. So, and then after that, there's so many friends inviting me for the wedding, and I always keep refusing. And when I refuse them, I have a lot of conversation with them. But when I refuse it, I said I cannot go to your wedding because why already. And if you want to discuss, I'm free to discuss with you. And all of them, they always want to discuss. And, they call me on the phone, and then I explain it to them.
That's good.
I have, even though I have some friends, they are not some, like I think I have a lot of friends. They start reducing meat, but still, it's not enough for the animal. But I don't want to say good for them. I don't want to say that because it's kind of wrong, to say like a congratulation and stuff, because it's a social justice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you cannot say if someone like a social justice is related to speciesism, right? Speciesism is same thing. It's the same level as racism and sexism, right? If someone doing something like less racist, you're not gonna say congratulations, right? It's the same thing with speciesism. Yeah, exactly. You're not gonna say congratulations that you're killing less or raping less or, no. You're gonna say something like it's about time, you're probably gonna say that something like I will say something like I say that already, I say something like okay, and then since it's my friend, I say so. What do you? And then I say, and I ask them like, what do you want me to say? They were like, okay. And then I would say what, and then since it's my friend, so I'm allowed to say something like, when are you gonna stop abusing the animal? And then call me back when you stop abusing animal. Something like that, And
Fair
most
enough.
of the time, yeah, and most of the time it's kind of work because this is where I live. I think it's rare that I go with a smooth conversation with anyone, even with my boss, with my colleague. I go straight on the line, and they understand it. They stop go around they stop making stupid excuse with me because, well, one of my boss, sometimes at the beginning they use some excuse, and then after that, after like 2-3 times, I'm at 2-3 conversation with them, so. Yeah.
So have you influenced quite a lot of people to go vegan too?
Yeah, not in my circle, but I know I did a lot of activism in the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us more about your activism then. Let's go into that.
I'm part of a group that's called Anonymous for the Voiceless.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard that?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, so what are we doing? So we're outreaching people on the street, and more, like what, 3 years ago I started 3 years ago. And let me tell you something that I see a lot of change in the street. 3 years ago, there's a lot of people saying like, I met a lot of people saying, yeah, what is veganism? Those kind of Christian people. And today, okay, when we talk about veganism, they already know. Okay, we have more of people saying like, oh, I'm reducing meat. I don't know if it's true, but I'm not here to make them reducing. I'm here just to remind them, like, as long as they keep buying animal product, it will contribute to those suffering, to those injustice. I use more the word injustice instead of suffering. So, for the first reflex, and I have a lot of people that that after the conversation, they tell me like, oh man, I want to stop those things. I want to stop those finance. I don't want to be part of that anymore. And then a lot of them now, and then they take information from me, and then I give the information. Sometimes this is rare. Sometimes I have some feedback. Sometimes I don't have it. But I have a lot of conversation with people that say that they want to be, they want to stop those suffering, be more vegan and all this stuff. But surprisingly, not last summer, but the last summer I did, because of the COVID, we cannot do it anymore. The last time I did, there's a lot of vegetarian people. That's true. And when we met vegetarian people, so we try to push them more towards not veganism, but we try to make them understand that why they are a vegetarian, and we try to make them understand that this is not just a diet, it's a social justice, once again. Yeah. So basically that's what I'm doing over there.
Do you find a lot of vegetarians that approach you are vegetarian because they care about animals?
I have a lot of vegetarians that came to the event, and some will say like, "Oh, I did that enough already." When we ask them the question why you are vegetarian, they always say something that's because of the animal and stuff. And then after that, I would say, "But you know that you still contributing." And then a lot of them will say, "Oh yeah, I didn't know that."
Yeah.
That's for sure. That was me, 8-9 years ago. When I was vegetarian, I didn't know that. So that's why I don't want to make that mistake. I want to give the opportunity to the people, to tell them the truth, because as long as you tell them, the truth, without go around the pot, okay, they will know, right? You cannot unlearn what you know, right?
Yeah.
As long as they know already, okay, the decision is on their side. As long as you say that if you keep buying those products, you are part of this. At least you did it. You're a good activist already. You did already. But then it will go on their conscience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they hear that already. If you keep doing that, if you keep doing the same action, then you are part of the problem. You're an asshole. Yeah. But how would I say this? Sorry, I forgot my word. Yeah, so basically, that's some of the conversation that we did on the street.
Do you get do you live in quite a busy area? Are you in a city?
I am in a city.
So do you get quite a lot of people approach you, or is it very hit and miss?
Pardon?
Do you get a lot of people come to the cube when you're doing?
Yeah. It's a lot of busy, and someday we have a lot of people that we need people. We need more activist people. Someday.
That's cool.
Yeah, and some people. Yeah.
Let's go back to food. You mentioned that you love rice already, but what is your number one favorite plant-based food right now?
Spring roll.
Nice.
Vietnamese spring roll. Do you know it?
Do you make them? No, I haven't had a Vietnamese one, but I'm sure it'll be nice.
Yeah, it is. You feel fresh, It's and the sauce. It's a peanut sauce.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love a peanut satay sauce.
Yeah, exactly. It is, and you can put anything in there, or you can do a poke bowl, and you can add anything and then put the peanut sauce also.
So do you make it from scratch?
Yeah, that's the easiest food that I can do.
Would you share the recipe with us?
The recipe?
Yeah.
I don't have the recipe in my head. Basically, I can send you but do you know what is spring roll, right?
Yeah, I know what spring roll is. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you if you just you can send it to me on Messenger, and I'll put it in the show notes so that people can see it.
Yeah, I just gonna link to any website that I found, because first sometimes I want some variety, so I go check on the internet, or sometimes It's basically pretty the same. Just noodle and any how do you say this? Veggies there, lettuce, mint, put avocado or mango inside.
Well, that sounds nice. Mango inside. That sounds very interesting. I have to try that. Awesome. So our final question before we end our interview, if there's somebody out there that's kind of on the verge of going vegan, but it's not quite there yet, what is one piece of advice that you would say to them?
I would say inform and keep informing about social justice and the injustice behind those products. And then I will say you don't need, I will probably say you don't need to know how to cook. Okay. Because I didn't know how to cook to become vegetarian. Just because a lot of people will say like, I don't know how to cook, so that way I cannot be vegan. No, you don't need to cook. And I will say, learn how to cook also. That's my third advice. And the fourth one is go vegan. Stop promoting violence.
Love it. So thank you very much for answering all my questions so brutally honestly. I love your honesty. It's been great. If there is anyone in the audience that would like to get in touch with you personally, how can they get a hold of you?
I have a Facebook. It's called AV Chan. Just type AV Chan. But you have my face anyway.
Okay.
As you can see, my full name is Chandra, so don't type a Chandra prick. You cannot see anything on Facebook. Type AV Chan. Yeah. So if you need any question of my journey, anything, or if they would need a mentor for to become a vegan, they can reach me on Facebook.
Brilliant. Thank you. Yeah. That's very generous.
Thank you.
So thank you again for joining me, Chan. It's been wonderful, very insightful. And thank you, viewers, for joining us. I hope you have enjoyed watching. And if you are a vegan already and you're watching, please do get in touch with me if you would like to be our next star vegan. You can find me on Facebook, Luna Bloomer, or email me veganbloomers@gmail.com. And if you haven't already, vegan or non-vegan, do come and join our community on Facebook, Vegan Bloomers. And we shall see you next time, hopefully. Much love, everyone.